Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, welcome to our third episode. My name is Annette Uribe. You're listening to the Uribe's podcast. I'm here with my husband.
Hi, my name is Lorenzo Uribe.
And we're super excited because I'm not sure if you hear a little voice, but we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
What is-
My name is Lorenzo Uribe, and I can do anything. And I want to go to school.
All right. You like going to school?
Vacation too.
Okay, all right. Awesome.
Toast.
So my name is Lorenzo Uribe, and again, we would like to thank you for joining us on this podcast. This is our third one, like Annette said, and share. If you like what you hear, please share. If you don't, share. Share, even if you don't like it, because someone might. So, and again, thank you for your minutes, for your time, and let's get started. So we do have our little munchkin here.
Before we're getting ready to send him off to bed, we decided to include him into our podcast and see what comes out of this. So
I don't want to get to bed. I want to learn. I want a movie.
You want a movie? No, but you're going to bed after this. So, question: When do you like school?
Yes.
Why?
Mommy, but I want a movie.
Okay. Why do you like school?
Because school is good for money.
School's good for what?
Money.
Okay. So, you like money?
Yep.
Why do you like money?
Because help people. To help people.
What? Why else do you like? If for those of you who are listening to this and not seeing the YouTube version, you should see his facial expressions, and obviously you hear his voice, but
and his movements. Yes, this is him 24/7, even in his sleep.
yes. And Joel, so what do you like about school?
Learning.
Learning. Okay. Awesome.
Ah?
Why you mentioned money? Why else do you like money?
Because money is good.
Awesome.
Joel, how old are you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right.
How old are you?
10 years old.
¿Cuántos años tienes?
4 years old.
Okay.
Okay.
Be serious for a little bit, okay?
Nope.
I
Be
think
serious
he's
for a
just
little
super excited.
Awesome. So now, one of the things we were talking about, if we're seriously going to have him on the podcast, we're like, sure, why not? So this is actually not, we didn't rehearse it at all, as you could hear, but we wanted you to see the real him.
So one of the things that, as you can see, we have him in the podcast, one, because at a young age, we've been involving him and now his sister Aliana with everything that we do. With everything that we do in business. And it's a great way for us to, one, spend time with our children while we are working, and then also another great way for them to see what mommy and daddy do and what we're doing for them. So kind of bouncing off of that is... I guess we'll share a few things that we do. In this case with Joel, since Joel is the verbal one right now. Aliana is only 1 year old, and Joel, in the last 4 years, has really seen our growth within business in the sense of how we're being more involved in the different businesses that we have, again, because we do try to involve them as much as possible. So
you mentioned something, and that you said verbal, and that reminded me. since we do have him, I want to ask him because one of the things that we like coaching or at least teaching our son is bad words, and it's probably not what you're thinking. So, excuse me, there's a couple of bad words that we do not want to hear him say at home or ever. And let's see if he remembers. Mijo, what are bad words?
I can't do it, and this.
Okay, so he's right. It's I can't, and do you remember the other bad word?
I can't do it, and this. That's
Okay, and the other one we stress is I don't know how. I can't is because we want to keep that out of his vocabulary, out of his mindset. We want him to, as you could see, as you could hear when he introduced himself, he followed up with "I can't do anything." So we want him to have that mindset that he can do anything. And the other bad word is "I don't know how." Obviously, all of us, we don't know how to do certain things, but what we want him to say instead is
Or follow it up with.
Correct, is can you teach me or can you help me? We don't want him just to end that sentence just I don't know how to do it and then sit down or just not move or
Get
not
frustrated.
Yes, so that's really important for us.
or don't cut a lot of trees.
And don't cut a lot of trees. Don't do
Good.
that. Yeah, so those are really important things that we try to inculcate.
And don't cut houses.
Oh, don't cut houses, yes. Okay, now excuse me, okay?
Daddy and Mommy are going to talk, okay, Juan? Okay. So, off of saying or teaching him how to not say those bad words or to keep them out of his vocabulary, something that has been a routine or has become a routine for Joel and for myself is every morning before we go to school, when we're on our drive to school, we say a prayer. Joel says his prayer and he makes a list of everything he's thankful for. Depending on his mood that day, it'll be a short list or a very long list.
And his list could go on for a long time, which we don't stop him because we love the fact that he's using his imagination and he's expressing what he's thankful for, especially in the morning.
Another thing is something we practice with Joel. And again, I'm using Joel because he's our verbal child right now. Aliana, we will definitely do the same with this third baby on the way. Definitely will be doing the same. And again, we're learning as we go. And Joel is our little experiment child. Yes. So he's helping us out. But another thing is affirmations. So we have been taught to do affirmations or how beneficial affirmations are for our personal lives and just to accomplish things. So it's something that we're trying to teach Joel at a young age is, I am confident, I am smart, I can do anything. And just things that are appropriate, obviously, for his age and that he can understand. So little things like that, and just hearing him saying them over and over, it's pretty awesome.
I agree. And since we do have him and he's already talking, so let's, Mijo, can you share with us a prayer? ¿Puedes rezar, por favor?
Gracias a Dios se plantar la tierra como el cielo.
Padre nuestro.
Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado, santo hombre, vengas a testimonio, hágase no tu voluntad, no dejes que en tentación. Amén. Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. Amén. Y líbranos de todo mal. Amén. Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. Amén.
All right, good job.
He adds a little twist to it.
For those of you listening to the podcast, he always signals across and then gives his fingers a kiss and throws his kiss up in the air. It's very fun.
Not up in the air, but to Jesus.
Yeah, it's awesome. Another thing, if you noticed, I didn't correct him, but because he didn't finish it completely, I pushed him along, or I reminded him, and that is we try to inculcate early on that there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts in life, and for that, like little things like that, where we can literally nip it in the butt, we try to do it as quick as possible. We're definitely not perfect, but I've seen from how our parents raised us, and from friends and associates, and even at work when I show up to a person's house and I see how the child acts, you could tell a lot about how a child is gonna act in his teenagers and adult life, on how he is raised, and specifically how you see the parents act to each other and to a stranger. So, and especially at work as well. So when it comes to that, little details like that, we try to avoid shortcuts, and we encourage him to do everything right. This actually reminds me as well, but one day I was picking him up from school, and when I pick him up from school, he is, sometimes they take nap times, and when they take nap times, they take their shoes off. So as the teacher, handed me Joel, and I noticed that his shoes were untied. So she told me, and this is the first time the teacher and I haven't had any interaction, by the way. And she told me, I asked her, hey, how come his shoes aren't tied? And she said, I just picked them up, and it was in a hurry, so maybe, and she advised, maybe next time you want to put those shoes that have the Velcro. So
Easier shoes
to put on for him. And I thanked her for that option, but I said no. In our house, if he comes to school with these shoes on, and you're gonna help him put them on, you're gonna help him put them on correct. And it set the tone between the parent and the teacher. And she was grateful that I told her that, but I also told her, listen, I don't want him to take shortcuts. I don't want him to put his shoes on without slip on his shoes without tying or untying his shoes. And if you're the authority figure in school, which he obviously looks up to her, he's gonna see that you're doing this, and I don't want that in my household. So I wasn't rude. It was very nice, professional. However, you also set the tone as a parent. Now I got home and I told Annette that, and she's like freaking out, saying, "Oh my God, probably the way you said it, your tone of voice." But it was all meant for good things.
All right. Well, our special little guest will be saying bye now. Say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Say great talking to you.
Great talking to you.
Any last words?
No.
No?
You don't want to tell him anything? Okay. All right. Okay. He's gonna take off by himself, so that's awesome. Bye, mijo.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah. No, we're truly blessed of having this little munchkin. He's a wealth of joy, and he is, like Annette said, he's super energetic, and we don't stop him. We encourage him, and we just guide him. So the last thing we want to do is tell him not to say certain things. Obviously, when it's appropriate, right? For example, one of the things he said, "Excuse me, Daddy." Well, I could have easily told him, "No, I'm talking." Well, usually that's the case, but we also need to give him turns, I believe. I think we also need to give him a couple turns so he knows that he is being heard. But at the same time, like Annette mentioned, okay, Joel, Daddy and Mommy are talking, then he stayed quiet for a little bit. So little things like that. And again, this is things that we've heard from our parents and from people that we hold of gratitude.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be nice to introduce him since he is one of the main characters in our family.
And one of the reasons we're doing this podcast.
Exactly. So kind of for him to also see himself, maybe he's listening to this in 10 years or 15 years from now, or seeing the video, and he's going to be like, man, that was a handful.
Yeah. But another thing I want to mention since we did talk a little bit about verbal, is when we teach Joel, we try not to just tell him what to do, but we also try to show him what to do. For example, at a very young age, I was taught to say hi to strangers. When you're walking past a sidewalk, when you're at a store, you say, hey, good morning, good afternoon, and you wave, and you say hi. And that, I don't see that taught anymore. So,
Or not even taught, but done.
yeah, done in
Like
general, right?
everyone's so fast paced, minding their own business, looking at their phone. Now with these masks, no one's really smiling and saying, "Hey, how's your?"
And if you are, you
How's your
can't
day?
tell.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
with that, when Joel was smaller, I would make it a point to make it a point that he realized that I was saying hello, good morning to strangers when we would go on hikes, when we would go around the trails, when people would pass by as I'm working in the backyard. Buenos dias, buenas tardes, good morning, good afternoon. And he started picking it up. I never told him to do that. I wanted that to grow out from him, right? I wanted him to do it because he wants to, not because I was telling him to do something like that. And it worked. That, along with, we had a couple workers earlier today, and
he's always the first one to offer water, offer a snack, make sure that they're okay.
Yeah,
and he's always wanting to help, like
always around them,
wants to work.
wanting to get tools for them. And the workers are always like, oh, wow. Some of our employees are always like, oh, wow, like he's very mature for his age. I don't think he's mature. I think he just wants to communicate, wants to talk to them instead of being apart from them, right? So, and that's right. The first thing out of his mouth was, after they put their tools down, he's like, would you like some water? And he took off before getting a response, and he brought them
A bucket, like
a bucket of water.
one
like
of his
three-
buckets from his toys.
Yeah. So think about that for a second. Think about the fact that a 4-year-old kid went to his room, emptied a bucket of his beloved toys, went to our pantry, got 3 waters, and then came down a few stairs and handed them to people that he never met. So for me, it was awesome. So I could make sure I congratulate him in front of them. It's like, thank you, Joel, muchas gracias, like, muy bien, mijo. And that's just encouragement. And I think we just mentioned verbal teachings, but I think it's just as important the actions that he sees or our children see in ourselves, how we act with each other and how we act with strangers, right? They're going to pick up. They're sponges. So.
Yeah, I'm sure any parent listening to this already knows that, their little ones are seeing and hearing everything because they're probably imitating them. And it's kind of freaky sometimes because the things that, even Aliana, she's only a year old, and some of the stuff that she's starting to do.
Her facial expressions specifically.
Oh my gosh, like.
I think she takes that from her mother. So, Annette, if you don't, you'll see throughout this podcast, if you watch the YouTube, that she's very animated with her facial expressions sometimes. And more than not, when we're in family, we're cooking, we're playing around, we're being knuckleheads. The rolling of the eyes, the smiles, and
Lorenzo loves the rolling of the eyes.
Yes. But specifically, like her rolling of the eyes. Aliana, she wasn't even 1 when she would roll her eyes, and she would make like facial gestures, like opening her mouth, like saying "oh," and like, I don't know. It was hilarious, and the things that they pick up, right? So be careful what you do, what you say around your kids, and obviously, we're sharing this. We're sharing this with people that might, don't have kids. We learn all this, and I am grateful for a couple of friends that are that have kids, and I'm not shy to tell them. I walk up to my friends that I know have raised great kids, and I share with them, hey, thank you for showing me how to be a great parent. I see that, and one of the people that just ends up, as I'm saying that, is the Goals.
Yeah.
The Goals family.
The G5.
The G5. And
Shout out to the G5.
Yes, major. A great friend. We went to college. We got our masters together, and I think we bond very well. But one of the things I noticed even from, and they were a young couple, one of the things I noticed with their family is that they are all very united, and they're very loving, and they're very passionate, and they're very out there. There's no, it's authentic. And, I told Goals and Cami that maybe we should have asked them if we could share their stuff before we actually record this, but we just also want to be authentic. And so that's one of the many families that we actually tell them, hey, you guys rock. We love what you're doing with your kids, and some things that you guys do, like, we want to implement, right? So shout out to them, like Annette said.
Let's see. So, we were talking about in the beginning how we have Joel involved within, I guess, our
Dinner tables,
conversations, topics. We're very huge on the topic of money. We don't want money to ever be a taboo topic in our household. You ask Joel, and I think he mentioned it, he's like, money is good. We don't want to put any negative meaning behind money. So we definitely try to emphasize how we can help others with money, how we can obviously help ourselves, our family, by doing more, not only personally, but for the community. So,
and that raised a good point. She said taboo. We do sit with families, and it's when we ask them, how is your savings, or how much does your husband or wife make? How much do they have in their retirement plan? They don't know, and it's not that.
Or they've kept it a secret from each other.
And every family is different, so we respect that. Some families work as in they keep their finances apart. We respect that. We work with it. The issue comes when they don't. They share their information, but their sharing is very minimal, to the point that the husband or one half doesn't even know what they have. So how could they share that to their other half, right? Their partner. So if they don't know what they have, their type of retirement, how are they going to talk about their finances to their partner? They're not, right?
Or plan accordingly.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and or a budget. So that's why we say it almost sounds like it's a taboo subject in the dinner table. So learning from that, we bring it to our house and we implement that. We're very open about our finances,
right.
and we talk about money, and we don't tell them, hey son, this isn't taboo. No, we just make it like
normal. We just don't make it weird.
Yeah.
Money isn't weird. Money is awesome.
Yes, and money is not the root of all evil.
Going along that, Joel has helped me out with some of my, I don't know, what is it, TikToks, Reels, whatever it is. He on saving, or how to save, different ways of saving for children. So just getting him involved in that way is.
If you don't follow her, by the way, follow her on Instagram. She's getting a lot
Thanks,
better.
husband.
Yeah, she's getting a lot better on the reels and all that. I'm very proud of it. I don't say it enough, but I am. I'm very proud of her. And
That's like another job in itself.
Yeah,
props to everyone who.
Give your hashtag.
Or I'm Annette M. Uribe, and yours.
Her Annette is ANNETTEMURIBE. My hashtag is LJ.
Not hashtag.
Or my follow.
Handle name.
My handle. My follow.
He's still kind of old school. He's the kind of guy who's like, oh, I use a Macintosh.
So, my follow is
your handle.
My handle is LJURIBE.
Awesome.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Awesome. So
let's see. We talked about bad words within that we consider bad words in our household. Dinner topics. Any other than money being good or not keeping it taboo?
No, it's more like coaching, right? And
I think mindset too. Like,
Oh,
you can do
absolutely.
anything. And
Yeah, just like he said, like again, he introduced himself and he followed it with "I can do anything." I actually got that. A shout out to Mr. Grant Cardone. I got that with one of the.
oh
We
yeah,
heard it.
our last 10x
Yes, actually, before that, I even heard every 10x event, which is a
growth con.
10x is a movement almost for entrepreneurs, and it's once a year. Mr. Grant Cardone has had a like a networking event, a huge business networking event, and he brings up he has recently brought up his daughters, and one of the things they say is, and I can do anything. I think
Scarlett
Scarlett,
or
the eldest, the
one of
oldest,
them.
and I can do anything. She introduces herself, and she says I can do anything. I think that's awesome. So we grab that because we loved it, and we implement that in our family. And that's right. Mindset is huge, and part of mindset, it's almost like you're coaching your kids. You're coaching your kids, and in everyday tasks. And I think talking about coaching a little bit, it's just as important to know how to be coached and know how to coach.
Be
So
coachable.
Be coachable. Thank you. Uh, you have to be a student before you're a teacher, right? So
We're still students. Definitely.
absolutely. Actually, just a couple of hours ago, we got off the phone with a nice long Zoom call with our mentors, and we still have we consider our mentors not only to be close friends of ours, but they're they're a very accomplished couple, and they're very successful in business, and we are lucky to have them as our mentors, friends and mentors, and we really take it serious what they have, the feedback they give us.
Yeah, it's like a time for business and what is it? How does this thing
Business
go?
pleasure.
Yeah, business pleasure. Like
You
Fine
separate
line,
business from
yeah.
pleasure, yeah. So and
So-
that's absolutely right. Like they know how to put boundaries, and we want to learn. We're
and we
learning that
definitely
too.
don't step over those boundaries because we appreciate their time and their willingness to help us and allow us to pick their brain and guide us to be more so like them. So we're very fortunate. We're very blessed.
Yes, thank you.
And so
Thank God.
the year is coming to an end, and we got our business plan ready for 2022, and we thought we were set. And there's always room for improvement,
You
as
have to have-
we learned.
I had a little bit of humble pie. So, and if you know us, and for those of you who don't, we like mentoring people as well. We like hosting events. I host Men and Money events in Los Angeles, where I get a group of people, men together, or entrepreneurs that want to either expand in their business and want to grow their business, or are hungry for something else and they want to start something. Well, we have events that satisfies just that. And Annette has events that are on women and wealth. Same concept. Yeah, a network of fun time with women where it's educational and very social, but at the same time, it's nothing but networking, very positive networking with like-minded people. That is so powerful. So we do that. People ask us, hey, can you help us with our business plan? We have done that. So the fact that, going back to the humble pie that I ate today, the fact that we did what we considered a good business plan, and they hashed it out. They're like, nope, scratch
We're not
this.
we weren't specific. We needed to be more
Detailed.
detailed, add deadlines.
A timeline, a
Yeah.
deadline to your goals. So those are the things that we knew. However, we're reminded of because we didn't include it. So that's awesome. And who do you have, if you're listening to this or watching this, who do you have in your life that holds you accountable to your goals and your dreams, and reminds you of your why? Why are you doing things? Why are you waking up in the morning? Why are you staying up late at night when you're exhausted? And sometimes, are you wasting time? Are you just going through social media, just wasting time, not being productive? You have to have people accountable for that, and we are blessed we have this couple, which
We'll will most likely have later on on an
We
episode.
would love to introduce them to you.
Yeah.
We just, for their privacy, we would like to get
Ask
their permission first. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and so that's something that we learned today. So during the business plan, one of the things we said was attend more mass in our religious side.
Attend Sunday Mass regularly.
Yes. So we're Catholics, and we're born. Our parents were Catholics. We're born into Catholicism, and I love it. And I must admit, I haven't practiced it, and I haven't gone to regular Sunday Mass. So that's one of the goals for 2022. And I thought it was just as simple as saying that, like attend Sunday Mass. And they're like, no, like don't just put attend Sunday Mass.
They didn't sound like that. They're not
That's how
scary
I listened
either.
to it. It's almost like I almost felt like he was reaching through the Zoom call and like slapped me beside the cheek and said, "How dare you just put that?" No,
But
he did.
he made a good
mentioned-
point. He said, your children are watching you. Why do you go to Mass? Not only spiritually, for your faith, but it's something that you're teaching on to your children as well. Something that you want them to, if it's something that you want them to carry on, or, they went in depth
and I loved it. Like to point, it made me think like, okay, where are we gonna sit?
What church?
Yeah, what church are we gonna go to? He mentioned that. He great points. It's like we go to Long Beach, and it's not very distant from where we live, but it's farther than churches that we have close by. So he made a point. He's like, why are you gonna, you should make a community around the people that you live, and it made sense. So like again, part of a business plan, this is just an example of a business plan, how you want to be detailed. Where are you going to sit? How are you going to show up early? Are you going to leave late? What type of dress? I mean, little things like that I start thinking of, like that we need to add. And again, people might think, oh, that's too much. Well, remember, people say you have to inspect what you're going to expect, right? People also say, and you have to put a vision out there. You have to say what you want in order to have a target where you could attain it. So the more detailed you are in your business plan, the more successful and the more achievable it will be, right?
Yeah, and off of that call, he did recommend, which I'm excited to listen or read together, is Goals by Brian Tracy. So if you have a chance and you want a new Audible book, or you want to buy a new book, we haven't read it or heard it, but he definitely recommended it's Goals by Brian Tracy.
Absolutely. So that's next on our list, and he recommended. However, we do this already. When we choose a book, we hear it or read it together. I'm not talking about side by side, but I'm talking about
the
at the same time.
time.
So we have another topic of conversation, and we could pick on the book with each other's ideas. Like, what did you think about this? And share. So, and that's again another topic of conversation for the dinner table, where our kids could listen to us talk about a book. Like it's important for all of us. It's important for us to do that, and we actually encourage you to do that as well.
Yeah. So again, I guess the main focus of today was Joel. Not only Joel in himself, but he's a big why for us. So why we do what we do. We've mentioned before, this podcast is a great way for us to leave a video recording and audio recording for them to listen to us. If maybe you don't want to do that, maybe you just want to journal, that's awesome. Honestly, I lost my mom 11 years ago now, and my dad recently a year ago, and I'll find letters from my mom, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. That just to get back into their mindset of what they were thinking or what they wanted to tell you, it's nice because it reminds you well, one, now that you're a parent, it's like you see them differently and you understand them differently. So hopefully Joel, when he's of age and if he decides to, have children, he'll kind of think that way as well. So the video, the audio, and then, things that we pick up that we feel help us raising our children. Not so much the disciplinary, but more so in the mindset and just the attitude of being a positive person. They're just things that we pick up. Also, I don't know.
I mean,
they're tips and tricks for us.
yeah, and that's worked for the first 4 years, right? So nothing here is saying that it's not going to work for our third kid, or maybe it won't work for our third kid and we need to change things up. But what we do encourage is, like Annette said, the journal, the diaries, the pictures, the videos, the little notes. One of the things I do is actually record private videos on YouTube. I record videos sometimes when I'm driving and I think of something or I see something. I actually record a video of myself talking to my future children. And I save it, and it's private. No one's going to see it. It's on YouTube. It's private. I don't care. You don't have to pay for extra memory. It's out there on the cloud, the World Wide Web. So, I mean, hopefully they don't take it down, right? Or hopefully they don't hack into it. But it's one of those things that I do. And later on, in part of our trust, we have password. People, they'll be able to access our password. They'll be able to access all those YouTube videos. So that's just something I do. And
Yeah, you're really good at that.
And well, this is
Thanks for
another
including me in the podcast now.
I wouldn't have it another way, baby. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. It has been a long day. So thank you all very much for joining us again. Please follow us and share if you like this, or comment what else, if you have specific things you're wondering about, you want us to talk about, or anything really. So thank you very much again for sharing. Follow us, and we're excited for the next one.
We promise we're gonna get really good at this.
I know this
really
is
good. We're finding our jive, what works, but definitely one of the main things, if we can give value to others, then by all means, that's a bonus.
All. Yes.
And we'll go from there. So,
boom. Let's get this started, or ending. Have a good day.
Adios. We need to figure out a